Hey everybody, Shannon here along with Tyler Wiemann from the LineStar YouTube channel with a daily fantasy tutorial video, the top 3 most important concepts you need to know before you start playing daily fantasy. But before we get into that, if you are watching our video right now and you're enjoying our content, make sure to like this video and also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have tons of tutorial videos for you to help you dominate in daily fantasy and prop betting. Make sure to check it all out. And also, if you haven't already, maybe check out the LineStar app, linestarapp.com. It is where you will find all of the tools you need to dominate in daily fantasy with a lineup optimizer. We also have the Props AI tool, which will help you find the best value in the prop market as well. Make sure to check that out at linestarapp.com.
The amount of money I'm going to be making would hurt your parents' feelings.
Now let's get to it. We're going into a daily fantasy tutorial, and who better to break it down for us than Tyler, who just a couple weeks ago won $100,000 in daily fantasy. So this guy knows what he's doing. So today we're going through the top 3 most important concepts to understand before you start playing daily fantasy.
Teach me.
Tyler, number 1, correlation.
Yes, correlation's a big one. It's really about building your lineups using correlation. What correlation is, it's when one variable moves, another one moves with it. So in the terms of baseball, say you have a lineup of 9 batters. If one guy is getting on base, the next guy gets a home run. There's correlation there because the first batter also scores a run and the guy that was hitting gets an RBI. So there's added points when an event happens. You can also think about it in football, touchdown pass to the wide receiver. Now, correlation is really important because it allows you to kind of get, I guess you could say, easy points when you get something right. And adding correlation just makes it easier to move up the board when you are correct on things.
Your ideas are intriguing to me.
All right, moving to number 2, leverage. What do we got for leverage?
So the most extreme example, I think, is best probably using baseball. Say we have a high-owned pitcher, and everybody, saying this pitcher is going to be great. But we know pitchers will get blown up from time to time. So if you stacked that opposing team's hitters, you have leverage on the field. Say that pitcher is 60% owned. Not only are those 60% of lineups losing points when your hitters go up, but your hitters are very low owned. So you have a huge leverage on the field to get up the leaderboard a little bit quicker. And it's a good thing to use leverage when you can. You can go overboard though, so don't make sure you go too far.
That's one of the concepts I've really learned since joining LineStar, is just really how to use on LineStar app specifically the ownership tool, which can really help you make your lineup a little different than everyone else's. In a lot of these big contests, it's hard to win unless you're maybe a little bit different than the rest of the fields. So that's one thing I've been kind of learning from you, Tyler, is the ownership aspect.
Yeah, and I mean, all of these things we're talking about today do kind of work together, and they're all kind of the building blocks to then kind of go off of.
So correlation, leverage, and at number 3, range of outcomes. What does that mean?
So it is the range a player has in every time they play. So, the projections are all based off medium outcomes. It's how it is across the board, across the industry. It's all medium outcomes. But, when it comes to baseball, a guy can strike out or hit a home run every single at bat. And so you have a range of 0 points to 14 every at bat. So the range of outcomes is just the range that player has in a given game. You might have one player that, say, their projection is 10, but their ceiling is 40. Meanwhile, you have another player, projection might be a little bit higher, say 12, but they don't have a ceiling. Maybe that ceiling's 20. At times in your lineups, it will be better to go down in projection if you have more ceiling. And understanding those ranges is huge for daily fantasy.
That's a really good point. And on the LineStar app, there is a specific column within the projections where you can sort by the ceiling, which is crucial, especially in those big contests where you're trying to get guys who not only have a nice projection, but also maybe have a little more potential for a big game in this one. We saw it in football season. Yeah. We're seeing it now in baseball as well, but a really great tool there.
Yeah, and I think understanding the range of outcomes thing is one portion of DFS that not enough people are talking about it. Yeah. It really is big. Understanding that each player, has a huge range of outcomes, and it's not always best just to take the highest projected player, just because that player may not have the ceiling that you need, and going higher owned because they're higher projected, it's sometimes better to go down a little bit.
When you're creating a lineup, do you want to use a certain number of guys with like higher ceilings, or how do you go about when you create a lineup evaluating? How does that play into your evaluation of?
Yeah, when creating a lineup, I want to make sure my ceiling is high enough in, with correlation of the team, the lineup, and also the total projected ownership. I don't want to create a lineup that is going to be duplicated 100 or 200,000 times, whatever. And so all of it kind of works together, the correlation, the leverage, the range of outcomes, so you can build that lineup. And the more you tinker with it, the more you'll start to understand the concepts and work from there.
Exactly. And as you mentioned, tinkering with it, trying to figure out what works best for you, and just kind of like learning. I'm kind of in the process right now of learning things. So a lot of times it's just kind of trial and error and figuring out the best way.
Every time you're entering a lineup, look to see what lineup won the contest.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Look at it a little bit differently as far as like, okay, what would have made me get there versus where I did, and what aspects of DFS did they use that I didn't?
Yeah, exactly. And on LineStar app, you can also go back in time historically just to do a little bit of that research, the homework, and seeing, what did well, what strategies.
And going backwards to research all that, it is free. You can get on there without having a subscription to look at all the past slates.
Well, there you go. We've got correlation, leverage, and range of outcomes. We broke it down for you. And if you have any other questions, make sure to drop them in the comments. If there's some other concepts you want to see us talk about, or more of this guy, Tyler, he can break it down for you. Drop it in the comments. Let us know. Make sure to like this video if you're enjoying our content. It really helps us out. Subscribe to our channel. Also, you might want to sign up for notifications as well. When we come out with videos, you'll be the first to know as part of our Noti gang. And when we're coming out with videos like best props of the day, it's something you want to get on pretty quickly, because for our prop bets that are on Underdog Fantasy and PrizePicks, sometimes the lines move a little bit, or they take them off. So we want you guys to hop on that. Being a part of the notification will help you out with that. So make sure to do that. Also, check out the LineStar app, LineStarApp.com. It's what we've been talking about. It's a great tool where it has stuff that can help you find things like leverage with ownership and the high ceiling, like we were talking about in the video. So make sure to check out LineStarApp.com. Tyler, I think that's about it for today. Thanks so much for watching. Again, any questions, drop them in the comments. We'll see you guys next time.
Have a good one, guys. Bye.